Hey friends, so it's John again. So, I wanted to update you guys on my last video, and my last video is more me introducing myself to this back and forth I've had with my spiritual life for so many years, and finally, not kind of, but committing, making a commitment to God that I'm going to stick with it. So, the main thing I wanted to introduce you guys is my two new best friends. Okay, this guy right here is my new guide that I have, and it's it's opened up my eyes in such a way that it's crashing with my normal natural instincts that I normally have. Right, so I'm going to a little bit more in detail later about that. But for now, just know that this is my number one guide right now. This is where I'm doing everything out of. Everything's based off this book, this scripture, that this instruction manual, everything's in here. It's so crazy because I always thought that, it's just a book and I don't like reading. I'm a person that I just cannot tolerate reading at all. If I finish two books in my life, it's too many. I remember finishing one book, and it was because I had nothing else to do for like 2 years. Okay, I'll go into details later on that, but um, there's just I had nothing else to do but read, so I had to finish the book, and it took me months to finish it because I would pick it up and regardless. And my second friend, and this is my second best thing that I think that has helped me a lot throughout this journey that I'm taking. It's been um, mainly like, hey, look, you know what? Writing, right? This journal. So this journal right here, um, it's I got this from one of my trade shows that I went at work, but it works very well. It doesn't, it has the pages and everything. So in here, you can see, pretty much like every day, I'm just writing. I wrote this morning. I had a beautiful prayer this morning on Ephesians. I will go into detail onto that later on. But I wanted to just give you guys a heads up, what I'm doing, how I'm going about it. Now, now that I've said that, I wanted to kind of just go and dive in a little bit into something that I've always seemed to know that I had this issue, this defect. Let's just call it a defect. And I believe that everybody has defects of characters. I believe that at some point we are lazy, or we're prideful, we're greedy. We have all these defects of characters that impact our our life, right? So many things, lust, you know what I'm saying? And part of the defect of characters is pretty much natural instincts that we've had when we were born, right? It's normal to have to go to work and create a family, and bring, like I like to say, bring the bacon home, just provide for your family. And that's normal instinct, but then there's this part of wanting more always, right? We're never satisfied with what we have. It's never enough. In my case, it's been like that, regardless of what I have, regardless where I live, regardless of what I've been able to maintain or have. I always want more, and not in a positive way. Like, I just want to make sure that I have everything under control, for my family, and I justify myself in my family that, oh, everything's for my family, everything I'm doing, everything is for my family, my family, my family, and making my family like the number one priority. And sometimes in doing that, I make mistakes, trying to, instead of putting God first and everything, then I fall into this moment where I'm like, hey, look, nothing else is more important but my family, right? Even God at points. I have put my family above God many times. You know what I'm saying? And doing that, I made mistakes, right? Um, but going back to something that I specifically in me, I've seen that I never, like, I know it's there, but I never actually pay attention to it, and it's my pride, right? I am a very prideful person. So prideful that I can't see everything else that I'm doing wrong. Okay, so for example, if I think I'm doing everything correctly, I go to work, right? And just think about it. I'm gonna give you what I do as a man, right? As a person, as a guy, So, um, right? I go to work, right? It could be at 4:30 or it could be at 6:30, depending on the day. I go to work. I drive 80 miles there and 80 miles back, right? I go to work and I do, and I'm a pretty good employee overall. You know what I'm saying? According to my bosses. So I do that. I come home. You know what I mean? And depending on the situation, I can either cook, do laundry, go to the gym. Um, it all depends what time of day or what's going on in the day to be able to do that, right? So then I started looking at myself like, okay, I'm a guy who goes to the gym, who cooks, who cleans, who does laundry, who works, and I'm a great father, and I'm a great husband, right? And I'm super great, and I'm the best husband, the best father, the best employee, the best provider, and all these things. And then I start creating this image of myself, thinking that everything I'm doing is fine and the mistakes that I make are okay. So I start justifying myself. Now, based on the pride that I created, or the pride that I have based on the good things that I've created, I justify my actions on when I do something incorrectly, right? It could be lying, it could be manipulating, it could be, um, you know, anything that's not right, right? Everything that's not correct. Um, I'm too good to get on my knees, and I got this under control. I don't need to go to God to ask for permission or to do these things or to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? A lot of things that I have missed and bypassed because my pride, right? And that's really something that has come to me and it's hit me on my forehead. Like it just boom, like, listen, John, you're a prideful guy. You're so prideful you don't even see it. Your pride is your weakness. You need to be humble. You need to humble yourself. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I believed myself that I was a humble guy. I always thought I was a humble guy. I always felt like I don't judge people. I don't feel like I'm greater or less than anybody else. I try to always maintain that, right? But there's one thing about saying it and one thing actually doing it in action, right? So a lot of times when I be I'll compare myself. If someone has more than me, I will be like, I want that. You know what I mean? That right there in that moment, I'm not being humble. I'm acknowledging that that person is greater than I am. And when the person's under me, like for example, I see that person, I've seen a person like be in need, and I'd be like, oh, I'm in a better situation than they are. You know what I'm saying? That's like instinct. You know what I'm saying? So there, I'm acknowledging that I'm greater than they are. So there's always been this imbalance of humbleness, right? For me, and humbleness has always been something like, in general, it's been, oh, someone who has no money, who's in poverty, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, it's something about, it's a spiritual humbleness, right? Do we think, or do I think that I'm better than anybody else, or I feel less than anybody else? When in reality, we have one spirit, one God, one everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at. That's what I see. So am I really this humble person that I think, or have I ever been? I have always been a humble person, or did I think I was, and I was acting upon something? And I believe I thought I was a lot of things, and I really wasn't. There's a lot of things that I didn't put into action. There's a lot of things that I would show, but when it comes down to it, I wouldn't act on it. You know what I mean? I would try to be like, oh no, that's not for me. Oh, this is not for me. Everything I will put it into my convenience, the way I want to do things for me. What's convenient for me, right? What makes me feel better? Me, 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 me. And that right there was when I hit my prideful moment. And I said, wow, I really am a prideful guy. So, according to the scripture, right? um, I can't remember the scripture. I'm gonna get better at this, but I will remember scripture eventually one day. I'll be like, okay, Ephesians 1 to 10, it said this, right? I don't know yet, but eventually I'll get there. I promise. But in the scripture, in this book, right? One of the main things, right? It's a the word was an abomination. Okay, pride is an abomination to have a relationship with God. You know what I mean? So being arrogant, prideful, it's the worst thing that can get you. It's the worst thing that you can have between you and God, right? The way it was explained on the scripture was that the more that you're prideful and the more that you're um arrogant, right? That's the more word that they use. Arrogant is the more that the further you're going to be from God. Now, for me, that was like, what? And I'm and then in this process, right? In this moment, right? I already have maybe 3 months, not over 90 days, that I've kind of started this commitment, and I'm going on a month and 3 weeks that I'm consistently writing every day. Okay, and that I haven't missed one day. Okay, on the other days I miss like 3 days, or whatever the occasion was. And but this particular part, I haven't missed a day of writing, because this is the moment where I feel the most peace and tranquility in this very moment, and this is what's helping me stay focused, right? For me. Now, what I'm trying to say is that in this process that I started, I was being so prideful about it. I was being so arrogant about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm learning about God and I'm better and this and that. And in reality, I was heading in the wrong direction, right? Until pretty much a month and 3 weeks ago. When I realized that wow, I'm very prideful. I need to like really bow down and just, man, God, I'm here and I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? And forgive me for my arrogance. Forgive me for this pride. Forgive me for every time that I turn my back on you. Forgive me for every time that I denied you. You know? Forgive me, Lord, because I didn't know the value of what you did for us, right? And I will go into more detail on that later, okay? I'm going to start a YouTube channel, so if you want to log in and just take a look at what I'm talking about, I'm going to be talking about my journey with God. And I'm not talking about everything that's good about it, okay? Yes, there's going to be a lot of good things about it, but the struggles, right? What is it to really walk with God, okay? Because this is not child's play, okay? This is not for kids. This is for men, okay? If you want to walk with God, okay, you need to be mature and you need to be an adult about it. There is nothing easy about it. So the commitment that I've made is to 100% give my life to Jesus, right? 100%. Where is this going to take me? How far am I going to get? Am I going to give up? Am I going to just say, you know what, I can't do this? Because this is what I've done before. I know what it takes to give yourself, right? And I'm always like, I'm a Christian, but not that. Or I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to do this. You know what I'm saying? I know God, but oh man, I really can't. That's like, so I made my own path, and believed it, that as long as I was doing what I needed to do correctly, I'm okay. Everything's okay. All right. So stay tuned. I will promise you that I will learn the verses and I will learn the scriptures the way they need to be. For now, it's just I have to write things down and give a better presentation. But I'm doing this naturally, guys. I'm not putting any filters. I'm not trying to edit or cut videos. I'm just, hey, look, this is me in this journey. What do you think? Comment if you want. Don't comment if you don't want. Hit a like. Don't hit a like. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. This is just so you can know, right? So you have, or maybe you can relate. Actually, this is more so you can, exactly. This is so you can relate, right? That if you have met God at one point in your life, and I'm talking about this is a big chunk of humanity. You know, there's a big percentages of us that at one given point you were taught about God or you were shown about God. There's a very small number that doesn't know who God is. Even the people who don't believe in God were mentioned and talked about, hey, look, there is no God. But they acknowledge that there's no God, right? But at some given point, you wonder, who's up there? Is there a higher power? You know what I mean? So this is if you relate, right? If you relate, you know, you can comment, you can share your story, you can say, hey, look, I'm going through the exact same thing. You know what I mean? And this is all what it's about. Walking together. They're letting you know that there's a possible way, there's a possibility, okay, that if you give your life and you actually do it, how do you start feeling? And this is why, even though, okay, I'm not gonna say my life is like, oh my God, this guy is in Jesus and all perfect and everything. No, absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. This is not perfection. Okay, this is not perfection. This is more like, this is hard. This is hard. This is really, really hard. Okay, this is not about, hey, everything's good. No, this is about showing people that walking with Jesus, it's really, really, really hard. Okay, it's not, doing the right thing is harder than doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry, but my son wants to be in the video for a second. Come here, Mikey. Come here. Hey, Mike. He just woke up. Like, I was like, hi, Mike. Hi, Daddy. Say hi. Hi. All right, come on. All right, guys. So, regardless, here we are. Think about it. It's not about having a perfect moment, right? Or everything's fine. It's about, hey, look, walking with God, it's a commitment. It's a decision that you want to do. And how do you do it and how you go about it in that transition, it's hard. And I'm just letting you know I'm going through the transitions and I'm clashing against my own difficult character. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm so mad. And it's true. I get upset because I'm like, wow, you know, God has this entire manual, right? And it goes against everything that I believe in. It goes against everything that I have. You know what I'm saying? It goes against everything that the normality of things that I've been brought up to be. And in reality, I've been wrong about it. There's a lot of things that I need to correct. So stay tuned. My YouTube channel is going to be lifting out very soon, so you can just see what I'm going to be talking about. Here's just a breakdown of the things that I'm going to be sharing, okay? Take care, guys. Bye.